today we're going to be talking all about the Gaming LA event that's going to be happening November 14th in LA. And we got a couple of really special guests joining us today to share all the details on it. We got Zach Sikar, who is our head of events over at the Edge of company. He heads up NFT LA, along with a ton of other events as a part of Startup Coil out in Los Angeles. Really blessed to have him on our team. And in addition to that, we have Mathieu Hoffman on the show today, who's the founder and CEO of Trusted Advisor. He founded the company in early 2020 with a mission to be the best resource for advisors with high net worth entertainment clients. So these clients and their advisors have unique needs from a technology, investment, cybersecurity, and risk perspective. And he knew he could fill those needs, and he has. So prior to Trusted Advisor, Mathieu was the founder of Empire Software, a venture-backed fintech company. Mathieu is also a trained architect, first entered the world of ultra high net worth individuals, UHNW, for a little acronym for y'all, advising through his work with family office clients while at Hallwich Kushner, an architecture firm in New York City. Since then, Mathieu has built a career working with business managers, family offices, UHNW advisors, bringing his multidisciplinary problem-solving approach, business acumen, and tech savvy to the unique challenges in the space. Man, Mathieu, hey, that's quite a background, brother. You're bringing all kinds of goodness to Gaming LA. Let's talk about it, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, so we're super pumped to be co-hosting this thing with you. So November 14th, right? It's coming up on us really quickly here. Give us a summary of what's coming together and what you're excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have obviously a long history of working with all sorts of entertainment advisors, and especially I think when folks think of Hollywood, they obviously think of Tinseltown and kind of traditional film and TV and music, which is obviously the background of a lot of the folks that we work with. But I think in particular over the last year, as we at Trusted Advisor have done kind of the deep dive into all things crypto and blockchain, that's kind of led us to gaming in the blockchain space. But even larger than that, I think there has been a long tradition of entertainment folks kind of looking into the gaming space, whether that be kind of Web3, blockchain-based gaming, or more traditional gaming like Roblox and Fortnite. I think especially through the pandemic, all sorts of artists were shut out of touring, and everything was disrupted, and so they were looking at other ways to reach fans when everyone was kind of trapped at home. And so I think it was kind of the perfect timing of a lot of different things. And there have been all sorts of interesting activations with artists in the space. And then I think also from the video game studios and the Web3 gaming platforms, obviously they need to reach audiences, right? And it's very competitive for them. And frankly, what's better than leveraging the name, image, and likeness and audience of, big celebrities, right? So it's kind of the perfect hot pot pulling all of these things together. We're definitely very bullish on the space. I think every wave of kind of crypto over the years has had maybe a different hook. I think NFT is arguably the one that might be dipping a little bit right now, but I think a lot of people are incredibly bullish on the gaming space, which is why we're looking at it, and very excited to be partnering with you all for this event. I went to NFT LA, and we were sitting there, in the audience, kind of learning a lot and absorbing a lot, and have been working with you guys really since then, and kind of behind the scenes. Excited to talk about it a little bit more today, and then ultimately host that event in a couple weeks.
Yeah, super cool. So to be in Santa Monica, right? Really trying to elevate information and inspiration, connections, right, for folks in the entertainment space and the music space and the gaming space, and really drawing people into this amazing thing that's happening in Web3 right now. And a lot of folks are heads down building right now. It's an exciting time to expand knowledge, information, inspiration, right? Those relationships, like we said. So really great stuff. So tell us a little bit more like about the concept here. So we're talking about a one-day summit, bring these folks together under one roof. And what should they expect when they come?
We really cater these to, I'd say, folks that are very deep in the space, which could be a couple different things. Folks that are deep in the gaming space, developers, studios. Our background and our audience really are the CPAs, the attorneys, the executives in the music business, right? That's who attend our events, and that's who our membership is made up of. And so what we do, with events like Gaming LA, maybe not everyone, especially on the entertainment side, is as familiar with gaming. So in a way, it is kind of like Gaming 101. I think we'll definitely have a couple panels that kind of present, the esports industry, Web3 gaming, right, at a relatively high level, because again, these might be more traditional music and film and TV folks. But then on the other hand, it gives us the opportunity to go very deep into topics that are more pertinent to the advisors, which are legal aspects, licensing, how do royalties and copyright work in the space. And I think these are the topics that allow us to get a bit more technical in our programming, and I think are also super interesting for everyone in the Web3 and the gaming space as well, right? Because I think that's kind of what they need to really nail when they're pulling together these projects, when they're building these partnerships in the space. And so it will definitely be looking at name, image, likeness, deal making, just the business model in general, which is quite different than music and film and TV. There's a ton of investment. I know, we look at, things even like movie budgets, right, which are hundreds of millions sometimes, but the video game studios, I think, especially, AAA rated video games are massive, massive endeavors. And so, we'll definitely be diving into aspects like that. And yeah, just some of the more kind of hard hitting topics that I think are sometimes not always seen at conferences.
Yeah, totally. And people don't realize just how much is necessary to bring a project to life. And you have to form a real company behind it, right? With systems and processes and best practices that are rooted in just fundamental business. And a lot of folks don't necessarily realize that when they move into the space, and you can get caught up pretty quickly around issues of IP and HR and other issues that are just so freaking important, man. But people don't realize, because maybe this is their first venture as an entrepreneur, right? And so there's two sides of it. One is, as somebody in this space, as an artist trying to do something in this space, as a developer, as an entrepreneur, what do I got to think about, from these other really meaningful foundational categories, number one. But then number two is, we need more folks in those foundational categories, the accountants of the world, various attorneys of the world, thinking about these things and being familiar with how Web3 is applicable to their particular, subject matter. And that in turn will then feed the engine in more people, more accessibility to people that are actually knowledgeable about this stuff and can help with this stuff, can speak about it, or are comfortable speaking about it. I mean, it's hard to find somebody that can talk about IP and Web3 confidently and is even willing to do so. We had Marta Belcher, the chairman of the Filecoin Foundation, on the show, an attorney that's very well versed in in copyright related issues in Web3, and she was willing to talk about it. But man, we have so many folks we've tried to get to talk about it, and they're either not comfortable with it because they don't know enough about it, or they're a little bit concerned about liability and whatnot. So, and we need more of those people on one side and on the other side. We just got to get that information to folks that aren't exposed to these really, really important foundational elements.
Yeah, 100%. I know one of the folks that we work with, she's actually on our advisory board. She'd be an excellent guest for you all. We work with her a lot. She comes from the music space. She's been consulting with large labels, with folks like Roblox and stuff like that for a long time. And she recently formed a group with a bunch of other kind of heavy hitters in the royalty space around exactly that, royalties in the metaverse, right? And I think exactly like there's a handful of people that have kind of put themselves out there that are diving into these spaces from kind of a legal perspective, and kind of understanding the back end of the music business, which is incredibly complicated. And I think I'm sure Vicky would be the first to tell you that we're all figuring it out as we go, and that you know what I mean. And I think that's why she definitely puts herself out there, and is incredibly bright, because she has that back end knowledge and she does understand the music business. But obviously, since the metaverse, all things Web3 related are so incredibly new that there is a lot of trial and error and just kind of seeing what sticks and what doesn't, and just kind of thinking through these things. And I think a lot of it is very collaborative too, which is interesting. And that's why we like hosting these events. It's not just the speakers, but it's kind of getting everyone in a room together, and discussing these things and kind of, you know, figuring out what some of the best paths forward are.
Yeah, man. And let's talk about that for a second too, because there are so many opportunities for artists. We mentioned it before, in the world of video games. So through Web3 in particular, these opportunities have just like escalated, right? They're blowing up, right? So you can reach new fans through all kinds of things like virtual concerts, investing in the space as a collector, as a community member, plus artists can create equity deals or partner with a video game studio. Again, stuff that a lot of artists aren't going to have much experience at all with, but the opportunity is there. So talk about that landscape a little bit, man, and why you see that as being important.
Mm-hmm. I think this to me feels like an exact mirror of what's happened over the last couple of years, kind of through 2020, 2021. This, I don't know, I wouldn't, you know, maybe not a bubble, but this last big burst of activity in the blockchain space, right? I think what we saw was there were a lot of projects backed or, you know, created in some capacity by celebrities, right? And some of them worked really well. And then there were also a lot of failures. And I think what happens is that it's relatively easy, especially for fans, to kind of understand if an artist, you know, if a big actor, you know, influencer, whatever it is, are really devoted to their projects. And also if the project and however they're putting it together kind of matches the brand of the artist, right? And I think there were a lot of successes and also a lot of failures. And I think we'll see exactly the same stuff in the gaming space. I think you can kind of tell in a lot of ways, especially like an entire fan base, when these projects are really well thought out and developed, and when it kind of makes sense, right, for whoever the artist might be, and you know, kind of what they're after, and when it doesn't. And I know specifically we deal with a lot of artist managers. When we hosted an event a few months ago, I think that was really evident with the artist managers and the artists in particular. I think that they know that there's a ton of opportunity here, but I think they also need to think very carefully about the projects that they take on, about their partners, about who they work with. And I think that's where too, there's a big opportunity in events like this to bring everyone together, because it does take folks with deep knowledge in the blockchain space, and it takes the artists and their teams to really come together and kind of think collaboratively and work through that. And it's not an easy process by any means, but, you know, I think most people know at this point that it can't be like half-assed. You know what I mean? Because it'll be evident really immediately. And I think that's definitely, I think it applies 100% to the gaming space as well.
Totally, man. So pumped about it. And Zach, like, you know, man, we always think about putting on events and throwing events that really do like grab you and inspire you and build real meaningful relationships and entertain and educate, like all this fun stuff. So like from your perspective, man, like how are we bringing that to the table as part of the Gaming LA event?
Sure. I mean, as Matthew alluded to, this is a really important discussion because, you know, if you know, but a lot of people don't know. In the entertainment industry, like from film, TV, and music, many people that work and have worked in that industry their whole lives don't actually realize that gaming is bigger than all three of those combined, as in terms of how much revenue it makes. And some of them don't even realize how many of the innovations that make, you know, modern entertainment possible started there. From special, like some of them are obvious, like special effects in movies, or just like the way that you know, music is done, and like a lot of storytelling is experimented on in video games first, and then makes its way into some more mainstream areas. But yeah, as Matthew was talking about, not everyone knows that, not everyone's participating, and I think that parallel exists even more obviously in Web3, where only a small subset of people are even paying attention yet. And I think maybe using that giant behemoth of gaming, you know, it's a world where other than Netflix, you're not going to really see VC dollars pouring into film and TV, but all day long you'll see that in video game technology companies, which, you know, are multi-billion-dollar firms. Like right here in LA, mostly because this is the of anywhere in the world where entertainment and technology are being built at the same time. So you'll see the giant companies like Riot Games and Activision Blizzard, where they headquartered, Southern California for sure. So this is the story, and this is the place to tell it.
It's amazing to this day, yeah, again, how much awareness there is, around gaming and the opportunities there. And by that, I mean, really how little awareness there is overall relative to the opportunity there. So I think this event will be a step in the right direction in raising that awareness among people that can move the needle. And so we want to make sure that folks know where to go to learn all about it and follow it, so they can attend and participate and follow along. And so I think we got Trusted Advisor.la, right? We have some information up on the Gaming LA link on trustedadvisor.la. And you can also follow all the fun happenings that Mathieu and team have going on over at Trusted Advisor LA. And that's the word trusted and then ADVSR, so no vowels in advisor, LA, Trusted Advisor LA on socials. You can keep an eye out there for all kinds of fun announcements about what is forthcoming here on November 14th in Santa Monica. So in honor of this amazing event that's forthcoming, we also have a little giveaway lined up that we wanted to queue up here. And that is 3 free tickets to the event. Again, that's going to be November 14th, hosted at the Broad Stage in Santa Monica. So keep an eye out on our socials for all the details that you need to be able to score those tickets. That's amazing. Very generous of our team here to put those up for grabs. Guys, before we break, any final words here for our listeners?
Hope to see you all there in November. Very excited to work with you guys and put this together. I think it's the first of many, right? I think we definitely envision this as a series, so kind of planting the flag in the ground there. And yeah, hope to see everyone in a couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely follow along, or if you're smart, just register for tickets now. We've got some really cool announcements coming. This will be a really interesting event, and it's not a huge capacity event, so we expect it to sell out. But yeah, do expect some really cool announcements around, names you will recognize both from the entertainment and investment communities.
Beautiful. Yeah. So head over there, guys, register now, grab a ticket while you can, and yeah, be part of this train that has already left the station. So Mathieu, Zach, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
See you next
All
time.
right. You got it. All right, y'all. So that's a wrap on this. We'll cut that in to the episode, cool. And this thing will go live next Wednesday. So a week from this Wednesday, that is the 12th of October. So we'll get that out into the world. We'll share it across all of our socials and all that fun stuff, and we'll rock and roll from there.
Sounds good. What time does that usually go up, or is that not set?
It's not set. It depends on, different moving pieces on the production side. Okay. But our crew will be able to give a heads up in advance on that. Okay. Audrey should be able to reach out. And of course, Zach will be in the loop on the different moving pieces on this too. We usually do a touch base on it on Tuesday, just to make sure we're on track. Okay. And we'll make sure you get you're tied in there. Okay.
Yeah, we'll stay tuned. Our newsletter always goes out on Wednesdays too, and I think we can kind of and ours perfect. Is flexible. Yeah. So we can definitely kind of hold off in sending that, and definitely would love to promote that too from our side.
Awesome. Yeah, Zach, if you can help us with that coordination to make sure that gets tied in, that would be amazing. Because I'll be out of pocket for that ops meeting. But we got Audrey obviously tied in there. So the idea would be we could get that link from Ethan a little early, even, or the second we get it over to Mathieu. They can include that in their newsletter, right? Sure. Then we'll get full distribution on that episode.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right, y'all. Well, I appreciate it, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Jeff.
You as well. All right. Talk soon.
Take care, guys. See ya.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.